You are watching Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports, and sports are just something that we don't talk about. And I am here at day number 4 at the Virginia Film Festival. Last night was a blast. I got to see Origin, the new Ava DuVernay film, at the US premiere, so definitely go check out yesterday's video. If you want to stay up to date with all of my festival coverage, consider dropping a subscription. However, today I have a lot of movies on the docket. I have 4. That is going to be the most I watch any day here at the festival. And I'm about to go in for Perfect Days, the Japanese submission for Best International Feature. And yeah, let's see what it's all about.
Perfect Days is a co-production between Germany and Japan, and Wonders wrote the script with writer-director Takuma Takasaki. The film features an incredible array of talent, including Koji Yakusho, who received the Best Actor Award from the Cannes Film Festival. Perfect Days is also part of the Virginia Film Festival's International...
Sorry for the super chaotic first video of the day. I was running a little bit behind schedule. I'm staying with family up in Charlottesville and was hanging out with them and didn't realize, oh, I'm against the clock. I need to rush to make it to Perfect Days, but I made it, and now I am rushing to movie number 2 of the day, Terrestrial Verses. I hope I'm saying that right. It was a suggestion from Matt, actually. He said one of his professors directed the movie, so I'm super interested for that. But I'm currently racing my way there. I'm gonna get there like right when the movie starts. They do a little forward before, so I'll be able to make it there in time. So as I am walking there, I can talk a little bit about Perfect Days. And you might be surprised to hear that was my very first Wenders film. Never seen one of his films before, but you know, here he's a great filmmaker, and I am happy to report that I think he is as well. Perfect Days is a movie about a central public healthcare worker, and he's not a doctor, he's not a nurse, he's not a dentist. No, he is a toilet cleaner. And that may sound a little funny at first, but I think this movie does a good job of showing you that this is a real job that people have to do, and it's a very admirable job at that as well. It also does a great job of showcasing the day-to-day beauties of life that can be in nature, as you look right here. Beautiful scenery here in Charlottesville, Virginia. That can be just a glance from a stranger. It can be helping a family in need, or it can be as funny and as simple as playing a game of tic-tac-toe with someone you don't even know who's on the other side of the game. It is anchored by a lead performance that I think is truly extraordinary. The actor is able to do so much with so little words, but you can still feel his emotion, and you can still feel his happiness, his pleasure throughout everything that he's experiencing throughout his day. And I can see myself a lot in this main character because I'm someone who plans everything out super far in advance. That's why I'm kind of nervous and freaking out walking to this next screening. And it just really masterfully captures what's it like to have your day planned out and everything hits the mark and you accomplish what you set out to do. But it also showcases and captures what happens when one thing in your day goes wrong and how it can just crumble everything around you. This movie does a great job of showcasing both sides of what a perfect day and a worse day can be. Overall, I thought Perfect Days was a great time. It's one of the best films I've seen here at the festival. I can definitely see this getting to international feature, being the Japanese submission. It has a great script that flows by, it's perfectly paced, and it has some of the best needle jobs of the year. And I have some time until my next film, 4 Daughters, but I figured I'll go back to Perfect Days real quick, so I'm not rushing through everything as I was speed walking through the strip mall to get to the Violet Crown Theater to make my Terrestrial Verses screening in time. But I mentioned how I thought it was very well crafted, the pacing was great, and I very much resonated with our lead, but I didn't really get to talk about our actor, and that is Koji Yakusho, who won the Cannes Film Festival Best Actor prize. He's able to do so much with such little dialogue. For many portions of this movie, he is silent or just gives like a head nod, or like he does body movements to communicate what he's trying to say. But then some scenes, he gets to use his voice, and I think in both sections of the movie, he is just knocking out of the park, giving everything that you want out of his character to feel connected, to feel warm from him. And it's what keeps you interjected into this story. As I mentioned with some other films I've seen at the festival, I have liked certain aspects, but I felt adrift, especially They Shot the Piano Player that I saw yesterday. I know I gave it a like, but in all reality, that's definitely my least favorite film of the festival. I would give it like a light to solid 4. That probably should be in the dislike category. But my issue with that movie is I never felt connected to our lead. While there were some interesting aspects in it, that disconnection from our central plot had me like an arm's length away. But here at Perfect Days, I was so entranced and so in tune with our lead character that even if some boring moments in the film happened, I never wanted to look away. Maybe he's cleaning toilets for 10 minutes at a time, but I'm still super engaged and my eyes are just entranced on the screen. Maybe he's just riding his bicycle around town. He's just looking at the pretty trees or the skyline or anything along those lines, but it was all so fascinating, and I fully understand why people adore Perfect Days. I am very much like it. Camp, I'll give it a solid to strong 8. This is definitely going to be at my end of festival prize list. What is it going to get? Not sure. Actor? Maybe. This another category maybe could surprise. And since I'm recording this after watching Terrestrial Verses, let's hop back a little bit to see what I thought about that movie. And we made it in. Awesome. Shout out to the Violet Crown. Free soda.
One of the co-directors of this film, Ali Reza Khatami, was actually here a few years ago in person when we presented his debut feature, Oblivion Verses. Many ways about the kind of dignity of life and living and the tenderness of caring for one another even through very difficult times. Among the themes in this film,
Terrestrial Verses is more of a collection of vignettes than an actual film, but does that mean it's not accomplishing its goal? The filmmaker set out to talk about the everyday struggles that the Iranian government puts on its citizens, and it does this by telling individual stories, some that are very small, some that go on a larger scale, of people young and old, men and women, and just a wide variety of citizens who currently have to live with these injustices in Iran. Was it the most interesting thing in the world? At times, no. Some of these shorts, some of these vignettes work a lot more than others, but I think the film very much accomplishes what it's setting out to do. What I think works most about Terrestrial Verses is its style of filmmaking. It's doing it in an original, creative, and bold way. Instead of having a multicam setup, multiple cuts, many actors on screen, it's always just one actor on the screen. It's a lockdown shot, and you're either staring them right in the eye, or it's, like slightly like here, and I'm looking like slightly off screen, something like that. And this style of filmmaking allows you to focus more on what is being said and never cuts you away, so the tension keeps rising and getting higher and higher throughout some of these situations. Like I said before, some of these work a lot better than others. My personal favorite involved a schoolgirl and what I would assume is her principal. Another one involved, it's obviously not the DMV, but like their version of the DMV, and someone who maybe or maybe didn't break the law, as well as a job interview. Those are the ones I think most effectively communicate how unjust stuff is in that country, as well as the tension. You can feel it on screen. You can feel it in our character who is sitting there. Some of the other ones, like I said, maybe my attention drifted off a little bit, but overall I think Terrestrial Verses is a very well-crafted film. I love how bold and original it is, because there's a way to tell this story that is super boring and lame and just uninspiring. And even though I did have moments where I wasn't super engaged while watching it, I still am very much appreciative of how original and bold and direct it was. Being like our lead from Perfect Days and just, enjoying nature and the scenery of Charlottesville, Virginia. Currently in standby for 4 daughters. Booyah.
But what this film does is it has 2 actresses play the 2 sisters who ran away in this documentary that tries to understand, why would they do this? But this kind of strategy brings up a lot of hard questions. One of them that kind of hangs over the film and maybe is not even quite answered in terms of that why is, why does radicalization happen? While it's easy to sort of say that militancy is evil, etc., that doesn't necessarily yield analysis in terms of what causes that in the first place. So to ask that tough question is sort of one of the premises of the film. The others are, just the ethics.
Fresh out of my 3rd film from the Cannes Film Festival today, this one being a international feature submission from Tunisia, as well as being a documentary, and that is 4 Daughters. And what I think 4 Daughters has going best for it is its blend of documentary filmmaking as well as scripted reenacted scenes from this family's life. The more documentary scenes really help you bond with the family members. They often get to joke, laugh, cry, hug, love each other, and you feel a part of this family. But the reenacted scenes really glue you in emotionally to the story. Usually these scenes are the more impactful ones, the ones that eventually lead to the tragic occurrences that happen inside this film. I think that this one is definitely going to be a contender in both international feature and documentary. It's just, can it slide into both categories? Does it just miss both categories? I think this movie works better as a documentary than as a film, but I think it's doing both very well. Like, as a documentary, I would give this like an 8. As a film, I would give this like a 7. Put them together, strong 7, light 8. As I said before, I think the highlight of this movie is how they approach it. I wish it could have been trimmed down a little bit in the editing room, but I fully grasp and understand that these are real people's lives. You don't want to chop out any key moments and very impactful and possibly cathartic moments that happen for these individuals, whether it's the mother who you very much get to bond with and get a little psyche inside their mind throughout, because they may not always be the best mother, but they are trying to do what they think is best for their children. As well as the 2 daughters that we actually get to meet in this film, you are very much quickly introduced to them, and you bond with them and grow to love them and feel for them as the course of this documentary go on. And then for the 2 actors who are playing the other 2 sisters, at first you can see the little awkwardness, but as the movie goes on, you can tell how they very much end up being like the actual sisters and commit into this family and feel like they are naturally a family overall. But now we get in the standby line for the Holdovers. I think I'm going to be number 2. Got our standby ticket for the Holdovers. Let's switch it up and sit upstairs.
We're so lucky to have screened several films directed by Alexander Payne here at the Virginia Film Festival over the years, including The Descendants, Nebraska, and most recently Downsizing.
Alexander Payne, our director, who is going to come, is committed to coming, and then we changed the release date, so he's off doing publicity somewhere. And as some of you may know, there's a Screen Actors Guild strike going on. So not only is the cast not able to come, but I'm not sure that any of them in this movie have actually seen, I know at least one of them hasn't seen the movie, and none of them have seen it with an audience, which is really such a shame. Anyhow, enjoy it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. The heart of the movie, when I see that scene where she takes the baby's clothes, her son's clothes, and packs them away, it still tears me up. And then Dominic Sessa, who plays Angus, had never acted before. He was actually a boy in one of the schools we scouted for the film. And you know, that the scene after he sees his father in the restaurant is the long take when he talks about who he is and he may not amount to anything and is he going to end up like his father. That was the first take that he did it. I mean, it's just remarkable that somebody had never acted on film before, and he was so, from the very beginning, so comfortable with it.
I'm coming out of the centerpiece film of the Virginia Film Festival, The Holdovers, and I might be in an island all by myself with this one. I didn't really connect with it. Sure, I very much appreciated the throwback feel of this. It feels straight out of 1973 or whatever year this movie took place during, and you can feel that through the cinematography, the editing, the sound, all the designs that went into this movie. But it might be just a festival lull. I just watched my 10th movie in 4 days. I'm a little bit tired, but I found The Holdovers to be kind of boring and monotonous at certain points throughout. I think the movie starts off very slow. It felt kind of disjointed to me, while I think Paul Giamatti is doing Paul Giamatti stuff in the leading role. He has so many great one-liners, and Dominic Sessa and Divine Joy Randolph shine in the supporting performances. I just feel like something's missing from this film, and what that thing that might be missing is something that I don't really know. It's one that I will definitely rewatch with my grandparents once it hits theaters, because they have been clamoring to watch this movie because they thought the trailer looked so good. But I guess to say, if you are new here to the channel, I did not really enjoy the trailer for The Holdovers. I thought it looked kind of mid, and that's kind of my thoughts with the movie fresh out of it here at the Virginia Film Festival. But we are talking Oscars, because, you know, this is an Oscar channel after all, and this is Focus Feature's only real push of the year. Focus always finds their way in the Best Picture. We saw that last year with Tar. Year in and year out, they are in our lineup of Best Picture, whether that's 5 or if that's 10. And in a year of 10, The Holdovers has to be in your Best Picture lineup. The reviews from almost everyone that's not me have been acclaimed and that this is one of the year's best. So I'm going to try my best not to let my personal thoughts of the film ease in. Like, when I say personal thoughts, I give this movie a 7, but I've seen so many 9s, so many 10s. So I would say currently this is getting Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, Best Supporting Actress. I think those 3 are a lot. Where does it go from there? That is the real question. There are 3 more possible nominations that this movie could pick up. That is Best Leading Actor for Paul Giamatti, Best Supporting Actor for Dominic Sessa, and Best Editing. I have Divine Jordan Randolph being our solo nominee from this movie in the acting category. I think that supporting actor is too tight. I mean, we talked about this the other day with American Fiction. We have Robert Downey Jr., we have Robert De Niro, we have Ryan Gosling, we have Mark Ruffalo. That leaves room for one more person, and maybe that's not excessive, but he's a newcomer. Can he break in over some very well and established names? And then our best leading actor category is very stacked this year. We got Cillian Murphy, Leonardo DiCaprio, Coleman Domingo, Jeffrey Wright, Bradley Cooper, and Paul Giamatti. Someone has to be the odd man out. Personally, Bradley Cooper has my least favorite performance between the bunch, but he is doing the most, he's showing the most, he's going to be in our category. I also think that Cillian Murphy is a lock. The other four, though, we could see any of them be our odd man out. Leo could be that odd man out for Kills of the Flower Moon. Some people are a little bit more muted on his performance. However, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. He got in for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Why would he not get in for Killers of the Flower Moon? Coleman Domingo isn't the weakest movie of the bunch, but so many people, including myself, thought he was a marvel in that film. Jeffrey Wright's in American Fiction, a movie I think that will soar on Oscar nomination morning, and that leaves Paul Giamatti as my odd one out, which I know is kind of a hot and a spicy take. Earlier in the year, I was super low on the Holdovers. I had it out of picture. I had this being a solo screenplay nomination, and I have it more than that now. I have picture, supporting actress, original screenplay, and maybe I can see the angle for lead actor in Giamatti, but editing, I don't know. I think American Fiction would take that spot for the second comedic editing to go with Barbie, as well as Kills of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, and Oppenheimer, and maybe Color of Purple can even break into that category. But overall, yeah, that's my thoughts on the Holdovers. Like I said, I am the odd one out with this movie. And the audience inside the Paramount Theater seemed to really like the Holdovers as well. So I'm on an island with this one. But if you made it this far in the video, consider dropping a like, a subscription, a comment down below. It helps the channel grow. It helps you stay connected because tomorrow I have 3 more films left at the Virginia Film Festival. Those include Francis' submission for the Oscars, The Taste of Things, Netflix's May December, and the musical documentary American Symphony. And that's a close to night 4 of the Virginia Film Festival.